Hi guys, happy Witchy Wednesday, and happy Yule, happy Saturnalia, and Merry Christmas to all those that do celebrate. So, there seems to be quite a lot of religious scholars everywhere. Everywhere you turn, there's a religious scholar. Kind of like whores, they're everywhere. So, who cares? Who cares? Who cares who was born on this day? Certainly wasn't Jesus, that's for sure. So yeah, the Horus and the Isis and Horus story, it comes from Egypt. Wow. Ringing. Bad. Comes from Egypt, and that's that. So, you know, all these people, whatever. That's all I gotta say. So, let's go back to traditional witchcraft. Much easier, no fighting. Too tired to fight. So, the red thread and the initiatory process. So, I really like this. I don't think we've gone over this again, or before. So, we do have, and it says, I have the sense, that the red thread is one of the deeper mysteries of the craft, as we are coming to know it. So, yes, it would be, the red thread is, life, the link. So, it would represent blood. So, this sense is based on the fact that both Glocks and I find ourselves referring to the regulatory in symbolic ways and during craft discussions, but I am having difficulty putting my thoughts together in any coherent manner in this blog entry, so it's going to be scattered a little bit from what this person is saying. So, let's see, where did I go? Okay, the fact that we are able to actually point to the symbol as a deep point of connection for our magic, but verbalization seems to fail on some level. Tells me that here be a grave mystery. So perhaps in order to approach the mystery, we should look at some of the aspects of it in this post, the red thread and the initiatory process. So, there are different traditions in traditional witchcraft that do welcome initiation, and self-dedication for me is the best. So, alright. So the red thread is the moniker we use to refer to the line of witch blood that connects us to the Tubal Cain. So, the bloodline of Cain, literally. So, a few of us come to this tradition with ties to Cain, bonds, or possibly even witch marks that we reinforce through charms or the process of admission into a coven. So many create the link through specific ritual. So, our system of admission is actually quite simple. We have a beginning level, which we will call greening. So this will be reserved discussion of this level for another post. But this person says, I'll say here that this is the first level for children within this path, whether literal or figuratively speaking. So, the greening is the process for the child, or the beginner. So, next is adoption, and at this time, where'd it go? I forget where I went. Okay, so next is adoption. Okay, so it is at this time when the red thread is linked. This tradition is linked very intimately to flow and nature of the family. So the adoption corresponds to the time of puberty, when a child has come into physical, mental, and emotional maturity, sufficient for the study of basic magic. So she or he may be brought into her or his craft family when a seeker, regardless of physical age, has passed the period of initial giddiness and done some serious work and review of his or her aims as a witch. He too, or she, is eligible for adoption into the craft family. I like that. I think that's really cool. I do. I like the fact of, craft families and how it's, you can just pretty much just abandon your family if you don't like them. So the goals of the adoption, right, which you can also think of as a dedication, literally, the dedication. Why am I blurry? I feel blurry. There, maybe not so much now. Alright. Alright, so the goals of the adoption rite, which you can also think of as dedication, are to forge a formal magical link between the student and the coven and to establish a formal training period of at least a year and a day. So this period is until the age of adulthood, in the case of family trad practitioners performing the adoption with teens and tweens. So this is pretty interesting. I like this. I think it would be a really cool thing to incorporate into a self-dedication rite. I just think it'd be really, really interesting, especially in traditional witchcraft, because we don't have too much of the initiation process talked about. So it's usually just, solitary witches in traditional witchcraft. Alright, so the rite can happen at any of the gates or castles. In other words, it can happen at any sabbat. So during the course of the ritual, the candidate is challenged and queried by the coven members. So provided that she or he meets with the approval at the end of all challenges, he or she will take blood oath on the anvil. So there are 2 points to make note of here. 1, participation in the ritual doesn't guarantee success. And 2, the anvil is the oath stone of the tradition and is intimately linked in symbolic terms to Tubal-Cain. Very interesting. I love that. I love that idea. Tubal-Cain by Shanti Oates. Very good book. Amazing book. So, where did I go? Oh, the candidate is given a red cord to wear at the waist, which is a reminder of the red thread itself, the umbilical cord, and the fire of Cain's forge. So he is also given a bone and a silver ring, which is symbolic of the bone soul, the intimately related to the red thread and the ancestors. The ring should be fitted to the witch's index finger, which is his or her power hand. So as this ultimate location where he or she will be tattooed with the stang, or the witch's mark at his rising. So, that's pretty interesting. I mean, that is actually really, really, really interesting. I mean, yeah, it is. I like this. I really like that. I really like that idea. I like the idea of the ring. I like the idea of the red thread. The red thread is very common in a lot of practices. So, okay, so now we have distance learning, but then we have the adoption. Let's see. So here's more about the adoption, I think. I'm not 100% sure. No, it's not. This is pretty different. This is really interesting. So I'm not 100% sure. So cards as markers of admission. So, okay, this is by, one of the Robert Conklin, Roy Bauer's writings that you'll want to read is titled On Chords. So we'll go to On Chords. Where did I go? I did not. I don't know what happened there. Alright, so it first appeared in the issue 3 of the Pentagram in March 1965. So in it, he discusses 2 aspects or uses of the traditional witch's ladder. So the first is the piece of magical craft that we'll be covering soon. It involves using the cord for spell work. So you do use that cord after a while, after you're done with your initiatory process and being adopted with your coven family and all of that good stuff. So, let's see. Okay, so the second use of the cords is that of the devotional ladder. So while many of us will make and use multiple devotional ladders for trance and meditation work related to a variety of focal objects, a great many witches receive their first ladder as a cord or a set of braided cords that mark their admission to a coven. So the cords are usually a length of silk or wool rope, braided yarn, or upholstery cord, whose thickness, length, and color may vary by tradition. So they are versatile, and they are used for pretty much cinching ritual robes, indicating rank or degree, measuring the circle, and sometimes for binding blood flow in certain circumstances. So when used to control blood flow, they might also be called the cingulum, I think. But very interesting. Very interesting. So, Chords used in a cingulum help alter consciousness. Okay, so it's basically constricting your blood flow to alter your consciousness, which is kind of dangerous, so don't try this at home. Okay, so where did I go? Okay, so they're often employed in initiation rites, so there are a few different ways to tie cords to act in this capacity, but the most common is shown below. However, they are used. A circulum should be administered with care to avoid causing danger or harm. We won't go into that because I don't want to put that out there, in case some teen or tween stumbles upon this and thinks, oh, that's going to be a good idea for me to do. No, it's not. Don't do it. Don't do it. So, cords can also be used as meditational or trance tools. So in much the same way as a Catholic rosary. So you do like mala beads, japa beads, rosary beads. Meditate on those mysteries of the craft. Just like the rosary. So, because they are usually braided and knotted, often with multicolored fibers, they bind together symbols and imagery that is important to the witch who wears them. Meditating on a particular knot, strand, or other element of the cord will produce a focused experience on the symbol set contained therein. So while working through all the knots, you climb the ladder, you work through the bottom to the top, focusing. Same with knot magic when you're doing that. Climbing the ladder through all the knots produces a transcendent state. So the spiral castle tradition uses a specific progression of cords as markers of admission to the coven. So each strand of cording that they use is made up of 3 braided strands of wool yarn. It's pretty. I mean, they're pretty. Cords are very pretty. So green, single green cord. This cord represents new growth, the beginning of the learning process, and the budding interest of the Green Witch in the coven and tradition. So the purpose of the ritual is to form a magical link whose loose bonds between student and coven, and to establish the beginning of a learning period of at the last 3 months. So the green cord serves as a physical reminder of that link. So aside from interested adults coming to the tradition, children of the coven are eligible to wear the green cord and thereby to acknowledge their relationship to the craft of the family at the age of reason, which would be puberty. So this cord is cut and burned at that time that a witch progresses to adoption. So adoption, the single red cord, this cord represents the umbilical cord, the blood of birth, and the fire of Tubal-Cain. It is a manifestation of the red thread. The purpose of the adoption rite is to forge a formal magical link between the student and the coven, and to establish a formal training period of at least a year and a day. I think I have gone way past a year and a day. Way past a year and a day. A couple years and a day. A couple 10 years and some change. Alright, so where'd I go? I keep losing my place. Okay, again, the red cord serves as a physical reminder of the link between the witch and the coven, but it is also reminds him or her of the link to all children of Cain. Children of the family may be adopted within the craft at the age of puberty. Now we have raising, single black and single white color braided together with existing red cord. So this set of cords is the final set that a witch within the tradition will use, within this tradition. So, the cords are fashioned so that there is a loop at one end, and a long set of trails on the other end, where the cords remain unbraided. It's very beautiful. So the knot that holds the loop fast is the white goddess knot. So the knot closest to the tail, which somewhat resembles 3 flails of a scourge, the rod or the scourge, is the black goddess knot. A knot is tied in the middle of the braided section, the Tubal-Cain knot. So a raised witch is a full member of the coven and tradition. So, and he or she wears the most potent symbols of the craft when he or she dons his or her cords. Children of the family are eligible for raising, provided that their knowledge and practice of the craft is sound at the age of maturity. So it's really, really, really interesting. I mean, I love that process that they have. It's very simple, but it's a mystery. So it's very simple to understand. I love it. I love that. So the witch's ladder then. Now we're gonna do ladders, rosaries, and a bit of weaving. So this is seriously amazing. I love this. I love braiding and weaving. It's peaceful. You can put anything you want into it. It's really incredible. I don't think I have any cords of any kind anywhere. I don't know. I probably do somewhere. So, ladders, rosaries, and a bit on weaving. So, while the season is still under the auspices of the Black Goddess, herself a weaver of fate and magic. So I thought I might like to write about a version of weaving magic that is rather central to traditional witchcraft. So it says, I am referring to the production of the witch's ladder. So the simplest sort of ladder is a single string, thread or cord into which the witch ties a series of knots. The magic of the witch, her or his power and intent, is stored in each knot and can be unleashed at a later time. So the exact same type of ladder can be used as a devotional tool, a sort of witch's rosary, in which he or she plans the steps on the ladder and to lead to a devotional goal. So of course witchcraft isn't all about doing things in the simplest manner, and we are crafty a lot. So we enjoy weaving together numeric and color symbolism, so our ladders tend to have more than one strand, and often more than one color, braided and knotted together. We include charms, beads, bones, feathers, and add more to add oomph to our magic. So it's very interesting. It's really interesting, and I have a really neat magpie skull. It's a sparrow skull, and I think that will go on probably a cord that I'm probably going to do now, because this is just very interesting. Alright, so now here we have a really odd picture, but I don't know what this is. So, to the right is a picture of a drawing that was introduced in the 1734 letters that, this person printed from Joe Wilson's website in the early 2000s. While all of the writing is still visible, I'm a little dismayed that most of the pictures have entirely disappeared from the internet. So the text at the bottom of each page clearly said, not to be sold under any circumstances for any purpose, must be freely distributed. I like this. It's perfect. So, alright. At any rate, the picture, labeled The Knots, show 3 possible placements for girdles, or ladders. In Robert Cochrane's writing on cords, he describes the use of both the devotional and magical cords. I love this stuff. I love this stuff because I love to do crafts. I mean, I don't always like to do them because I don't have the patience to sit down and just like bead and do things like I used to when I was on Kratom. I just don't have that patience. If I drink enough coffee, of course, I'm calm and I can do it. Alright, now this is his words. So, when worked up properly, they should contain many different parts. Herbs, feathers, and... what the hell is that word? Impedentia of the particular harm. Alright. They are generally referred to in the trade as ladders, or in some cases garlands, and have much the same meaning as the 3 crosses. So, that is that they can contain 3 blessings, 3 curses, or 3 wishes. A witch also possesses a devotional ladder by which he or she may climb to meditational heights, knotted to similar patterns as a Catholic rosary. So, the rhyme is often seen accompanying the witch's ladder spells. Now, I love these. It's very simple magic, but it works. And it works good. So, by knot of 1, the spell's begun. By knot of 2, the magic come true. By knot of 3, so it shall be. By knot of 4, this power is stored. By knot of 5, my will shall drive. By knot of 6, the spell I fix. By knot of 7, the future I leaven. By knot of 8, my will be fate. By knot of 9, what is done is mine. Very simple. Very simple. So when making a ladder, you will typically work from the outside toward the middle. So your first knot is actually on one end of the cord. Your second knot is on the other end of the cord. Your third knot is in the middle. If you have more than 3 knots, as in the rhyme above, you place the new knots between established ones, still alternating sides. So for instance, the 4th knot should be between knots 1 and 3. It's not hard. It really is not hard at all. Alright, so where did I go? So if so still alternate, you're going to alternate sides. So for instance, the 4th knot would be between 1 and 3. In this way, the placement of the knots become an act of weaving as well. So you would have 1 6 4 8 3 9 5 7 2. So it would go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Very, very easy. That's really interesting, though. I mean, they're really interesting. I love it. I like the idea of all these knots. The way that they are just... I mean, they're beautiful. They really are beautiful knots. I wonder if there's any other knots in here that gives us a look. No, there are no more knots. So, I like that. I think that's really, really neat. It is just very neat. So, do you guys do any kind of knots or ladders? I think I have. I have one, maybe. That I don't know where it is, so... It might actually be time to kind of make new ones, since this is going to be the new year. I mean, not traditionally, since Samhain is the beginning of our new year in traditional witchcraft. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's so many religions and so many festivities that it's too confusing. It's just everywhere. Too confusing. So. Sorry. So yes, I think I am actually going to make a knot for myself. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys do. I would love to hear what you guys do, what your guys' thoughts on this are. And it's amazing. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. So, a Merry Christmas, Happy Yule, Happy Saturnalia. What am I missing? Happy second day of what? Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Yes, I think I covered all bases. So, yeah, I did. I hope. But, anyways, I love you all very much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Happy Witchy Wednesday. And I love you all the way from Venus all the way back down. There we go. So, alright, guys. Yeah, I hope you enjoy, and let me know what you guys do with cords, and if you have any suggestions, I would love some suggestions on how to get my cord started, or my ladder. Yeah, so yeah, just comment below and let me know, and I will see you guys tomorrow.